Hey, hope you're doing well. Metallica. I've been crapping on a lot about Metallica lately. It's because I'm a little bit obsessed. Again, I recently did a Metallica show in my local area and I've turned that into a tribute and I've just got this guitar, so, I'm on a high. So I got thinking, what are actually my 10 favorite Metallica riffs? Now, 10 might seem like a lot, but in terms of Metallica, that's really not many. There are so many amazing riffs to choose from. I had to really think about this. So end of the day, what I've done is I've compiled kind of a mixture. Some are actually my genuine favorite riffs and I love to play them. I like to listen to them and they feel great. The other reason I've chosen some of the other riffs is in context, they just work and they're fun. They're a good groove. All of the tones in this video today, I'm using my Axe effects. If you like the tones, you can get them from my website. And I invite you to play along with me. See if you can pick the riff and what song it's from before I tell you. So we're going to listen to the riff, then I'm going to explain where it's from and probably talk a little bit too much again. But here is the first one. So that was the pre-chorus from The Shortest Straw off And Justice For All. I love that riff. And like I was saying at the start, especially in context, that riff prior, it's kind of choppy, breaks out of that into this straight punchy riff that then leads into the chorus. I love it. And then the last time that we hear it, instead of going to the A, it goes to the D, so it changes it up again. Subtle difference, but huge at the same time. All right, number 2. This one is pretty easy. You're gonna guess it straight away. Have a listen. That, of course, was Wherever I May Roam from the Black Album. I love that song just overall. I think it's fantastic. That main riff is actually really cool. And then as we move through the song, we get to that point and it's more or less the same riff, just a slight variation on it with the harmony. To me, it's almost like an announcement that there's a solo coming. We all know there's one coming, but this is like a little taste of some lead before we get the actual solo. Really clever songwriting. I really enjoy it. Which brings us to number 3. And the more I think about it, these riffs are probably going to be pretty obvious to most of you, but I do encourage you to play along and keep note and make a comment down the bottom, especially if you do miss one. That would be cool. So here it is, number 3. I've always loved this song. Master of Puppets was the first Metallica album I ever heard. And that song for me was just like, the power, the punch, the let's go, let's do this. And I love this riff. However, I never was able to hear it correctly up until I started doing this Metallica show. I could always play it, but I always heard the 1 on the snare, but it's actually the kick. There's a few videos out there, but one fella, Art of Guitar, can't think of his name, he breaks it down and shows it with a nice straight groove. If you do slow it down and play it, it sounds like a completely different song. That'd be a different vibe altogether, wouldn't it? Number 4. This riff is from a song that I don't think gets enough attention and is for some reason one of my favorite songs. I don't know why, I just think it's cool, and especially this section of the song. Have a listen. Harvester of Sorrow. That is a sick section. So this is the first time in the song that it kind of breaks away from that main theme. It's still within context of the main theme, using the same chords and the same tonality, but I really, really like that harmony that they do. So the main line is Kirk's part, the high bit. And James is doing the fifth, but it's a lower fifth, which is why it sounds the way it does. It's basically an inverted power chord played through the lead line. It's really cool. I remember back about 10, 15 years ago, I played it in a band, and the lead guitarist, he learned both bits. The tab book just had everything written on the one thing, so doesn't sound the same, does it? You need to break them up and have the two separate parts playing together. Otherwise, it's like a double stop. Still sounds cool, but really not the same vibe. And then to end it, the stab. It's really cool timing and really cool rhythmic changes in that section. Mad. Next one, we're going a long way back. This is going to be a bit obscure and weird, this one. I don't think anyone would have picked that I would have chosen this one, but I reckon you'll know it. Let's go. That is, of course, from Kill 'Em All, the Four Horsemen. It's the interlude section, or part of the interlude section. Now, some might argue that this is actually a Megadeth riff, but I'm of the opinion that it was written within the context of Metallica, so that's what we're going with. So for me, it's just cool. It's about the groove and the vibe. I love how it fits in with the song. The tempo's changed. It brings us into this new vibe. It's groovy, it's boppy. It is fun to play when you are jamming with people. And I really like it, especially in cunning stunts, when they do that medley and they jump into this riff. So cool. We've reached one of my genuine all-time favorite riffs. Have a listen. That, of course, was the interlude from Damage Inc. That whole song is just sick riffs, the whole thing. That main riff there. It's all so cool. This one in particular, though, I love it. Just the there's this cool melody. You can't not hear it. You just follow along, you bop to it. Those stabs that come in and they accent the end of the riff, and it breaks away from that 2/4 into this real nice slow backbeat. And then when it comes back in after the solo, Lars is back into his 2/4, and just like that shortest straw riff, we get the D instead of the, in that case, an A flat or A sharp or B flat. That little subtle variation again makes all the difference, especially with the faster beat. Really, really cool. And it's tricky to play. It makes you really think about your picking here. It's just a great riff. How are you going so far? Have you been keeping up? Have you been able to pick all of the riffs? Do make sure you let me know at the end. And if you are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and stick around. Okay, number 7. This next one is another one of those magic riffs that sound like the one is on the offbeat, or rather the offbeat is the one. It's also pretty hard to play. I've been working a lot on it, so it's kind of the flavor of the month for me. And here it is. Blackened. Sick riff. So when I was saying it's one of those magic riffs, I always heard the riff as the melody being the one. So dun, 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 but it's actually not. The melody is on the end. It's the snare. Kick snare, kick snare. And it's in 7. So, you know, it makes it harder to hear as well because it's not a straight 1, 2, 3, 4. And it is hard to play, especially with all of the down picks. Haha, that ending was bad. And I also didn't realize that the second time through the riff, instead of going, you get that harmony, rather the octave of that high note down on fret number 6 there. Subtle, and I never actually heard it until I had to learn it, and that was cool. I like it. And at the end of the song, rather after the solo, before the third verse, Lars changes up the drums so he does make the melody the one. Boom, and then he flips it and goes back to the... And that was kind of the first time I realized that I was hearing it wrong. Once I got to that section in at the end there, and he obviously pointed out that I was hearing it wrong. He was telling me I was wrong, but then he changed it back to make me hear it right. So I've always heard it that way until, again, just the last few months, and I sat down and made the point of listening to it correctly, learning it, and now I can't unhear it, and that's cool. Number 8. This is one that I never really learned. I loved the song, but I never took the time to learn it, and now I know it. It's cool. So genuinely, this is one that just sounds great. It's cool to play, it turns out. I enjoy that too. And here's the riff. Yeah, man, Ride the Lightning. Sick intro to a song. I like how it leads into the next riff, which is why I included that second bit at the end there. And so that's the intro to the song, but we don't hear it again until the outro. So they literally start and end the song with this little riff that's not very long. And the rest of the song is completely all around. It's like, you know, here's the song, and 22 and 1, that's the intro and the outro. It's really clever and really cool idea. Number 9, straight in, let's go. Moth Into Flame. There's technically 3 sections there, but I think of it as just one riff, or at least slightly less and slightly more in each section. It's a continuation from the intro to the riff and through the verse. I like it too because it's real choppy. It's good practicing for the picking hand, and I like it for the fret 1 pull-off trill pick thing. It's just a really clever idea. It's not hard, but it's tricky. That main melody part, it's almost like an exercise. Getting those notes to be articulate and not letting them bleed together is the trick here. And because you're using your third and your pinky, those 2 fingers don't like to get along very well, especially for me. That's cool, and I love how it goes into the... It's a cool riff from a cool song, so not only is it sounding good and it's groovy, it's a lot of fun to play, and there's some really cool technical things in there as well that you can use as exercises. And number 10, I reckon some of you are going to think this is an interesting choice, especially from this particular song. Let's have a listen. Yeah, man, Master of Puppets, the clean section, the interlude. I love that section. I love that song. That whole song is just one cool riff machine. It's a lot of fun to play. It's good practice for your down picking. Like, it's awesome. But the melodic section in the middle is just, I think it's so iconic from that album. This section to me just stands out so amazingly. We've got the iconic clean sound. We've got that amazing lead part in harmony that everyone is just so able to sing along to. It's memorable, it's catchy. And we've got that harmonic minor feel through the solo, which sounds really great, which is over top of that B7. which you don't really expect, but it works and sounds really musical and lovely. It's very orchestral, which is very poignant for that period in time. Not only that, this is really reading deep into it. Supposedly the song is about drugs. So let's think of it like a drug trip. It starts off here, and then you finally take the drugs and we float and we're happy and we like it. And then it goes a bit crazy and into the solo. So, you know, if that was intentional, that's cool. I don't know. The lyrics apparently come later with James, but at the same point, it works, right? And there we go, 10 of my favorite Metallica riffs, or Metallica sections. How'd you go overall? Let me know in the comments down the bottom. Now that's only 10. If I had to do all of my favorite Metallica riffs, this would be like a 3-hour video, and no. Metallica's where I started, and like I'm still on that Metallica journey. I love playing it still to this day. So much fun, some really cool ideas in there, and you know, it's just sick. And that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned. See you next time.